In order to commemorate the World Epilepsy Day, I thought it wise to share a few tips about epilepsy, and my emphasis will be on how to help somebody who is throwing a fit, who's having a seizure. So epilepsy is a common brain condition. It's one that temporarily affects how the brain works. So it's associated with burst of electrical activity, more like the brain misfires. There are electrical activities that work in the brain, and so when you have a misfiring temporarily in the brain, then you begin to have symptoms.
Me.
No, not you.
One of the symptoms is throwing a fit, which is more like an uncontrollable jerking or shaking of the body. There could also be loss of consciousness. The individual loses consciousness and then stares in the sky, blank in the sky. So there could be stiffness of the body part. Then like upward rolling of the eyeball. Then you could have smacking of the lips. You could have thrusting of the tongue. Sometimes individuals with seizures may pass out and may not remember what happened. Sometimes people who have epilepsy may have some warning signs that helps them know that they're about to have a seizure or about to throw a fit.
It's about to go down.
These warning signs are what we call horrors. These warning signs sometimes can be strange feelings. For example, there could be an intense feeling of fear or joy, an impending feeling of doom. You just feel intense joy or intense fear, and that could be an horror for some. Some may experience strange sensation in their body. Others may experience unusual smell or a strange taste. And so when they feel that, they know, okay, they're about to have a seizure, they're about to throw a fit.
60% of the time, it works every time.
The last example I'm going to give is what we call deja vu. And okay, that's a feeling that events has happened in the past. They start feeling that whatever is happening now has happened before. So that's a deja vu. When they have this aura, some get to know it, and so they try to locate themselves in a safe place. Some sit down anticipating the seizures.
I can see it, I feel it. I can.
Okay, so from what I've said, you would have realized that throwing a fit is not the only symptom that somebody is having a seizure. So just let's clarify that. So when someone is having a seizure, the commonest sign and the most obvious one is throwing a fit, which is an uncontrollable jerky or shaking. But there could be other symptoms when people experience a seizure, like I've highlighted: smacking of the lips, upward rolling of the eye, stiffness of the body, and loss of consciousness, and what have you. Okay. The next thing to clarify is that not everyone who has a seizure actually has an epilepsy. There are two different things. People can have seizures as a result of other things. For instance, children can have a seizure when the temperature is very high. Okay, that's what we call febrile seizure. Okay, so when temperature surpasses a certain threshold, some children can then have seizures, throw a fit, and so for them, it doesn't mean they have epilepsy.
Okay.
People can have seizures, especially diabetic patients, when their blood sugar is critically low. So what I'm simply saying is that not everyone who has had a seizure has epilepsy. So in epilepsy, there's a recurrent seizures. Who have seizures recurrently, and in epilepsy, there's no apparent cause, as it were. Like I said, it's just a problem with the electrical activity in the brain, and then once in a while you have a misfiring. So there's no apparent cause. So what I'm also simply saying or implying is that there could be causes for a seizure. So when somebody has a seizure, it's important to present to your hospital so we can try and find out what is the cause. And if it's epilepsy, there's a way we manage it. There are drugs that can be used. So it's important to clarify these things. So let's get to the core of the matter, which is what you should do or what you can do when someone around you is throwing a fit or having a seizure. Okay?
Yes!
First off, needful to mention that you cannot get a seizure from someone. Like, he's not contagious, he's not transmissible.
Are you coming too close to me?
Madam. You can't get it by touching someone who is experiencing a seizure, like at the moment. You can't get it by contacting or touching the saliva or foam that is coming out from someone who is having a seizure. So you must have that at the back of your mind, okay? Is that